right? You might be surprised. Bad habits are surprisingly common, and you might even have a few. These are the 10 habits that annoy other people the most. Number 10. Rude noises. Remember when you were a kid and the teacher would drag the chalk across the chalkboard? You were just about ready to tear your hair out. Well, if you're sensitive to noises, that might be pretty hard to handle being around other people for long. There are a lot of little noises that people make day to day that just drive others nuts. Some of these include cracking their knuckles, which might not be healthy for the joints either, or smacking their lips while they talk. Sometimes even something as simple as tapping their legs while sitting and talking can get on someone's nerves. So why do people make these noises, and why are they so annoying? There's no one reason. Sometimes people are just a little bored, so they do something with their hands to occupy themselves. Sometimes it's a nervous tick. Some people are loud chewers, and it might not even be totally under their control, and neither is being annoyed by it. Some people have a condition called misophonia, which makes certain sounds intolerable to them. Something as simple as people chewing the wrong way can make them panic and even become enraged, so it might be best to just end the conversation there. But this next habit definitely isn't unintentional. Number 9. Being too blunt. We all know that person. They say the rudest things and then announce, "Oh, I'm just telling it like it is." But really, no one needed to know that this dress made you look like a hot air balloon, or that you were their third choice to go on a date with. Sure, there are some times when bluntness is a good idea. If you have a friend who can tell you when you're being an idiot and about to make a terrible decision, that can be helpful. But there's a difference between that and someone insulting you and trying to pass it off as bluntness. And if they don't like being told that, well, you're just telling it like it is. But why are some people unable to keep these comments to themselves? Some people are just mean. It may have been acceptable in school to give someone a wedgie or push them down on the playground, but after graduation, that's just called assault.
Or just find other friends. You might want these people to go away, but these next group are just the opposite. Number 8. Being late. All the time. You get that call and your friend wants to meet for lunch. You cancel the rest of your plans for the day, get dressed, and hold off on eating until noon. And then they call and say they'll be a little late. A little late turns into 3:30 and the restaurant isn't even serving lunch specials anymore. Sure, delays happen, but if a friend is constantly late, it's easy to start wondering why you're scheduling your day around them. This is an even bigger problem if you're planning a vacation with them or relying on them to pick you up from somewhere. A lost afternoon is one thing, but
bullies have to find other ways to bully, and the targets are often their friends. But not all blunt people are bullies. Some are trying to help, but don't know how to say it politely, or are mirroring things they heard from their parents. But good intentions or bad, this habit annoys people because it never feels good to be insulted. People who get this treatment are likely to either become more self-conscious or not. Sometimes this guy's trying to get positive attention, and sometimes he can't handle his alcohol too well, and he doesn't know when to quit. His friends are usually willing to put up with him until his poor judgment goes a little too far, and he says something he shouldn't, or breaks something too valuable. And if you don't know who that guy in your parties is, think long and hard. Are you that guy? This next person won't wreck your house, but they may wreck your nerves. Number 6. No sense of personal space. An old friend sees you for the first time in a while. You wave to them and hold your hand out for a handshake. And the next thing you know, you're being swept up into a bear hug. They sure are excited to see you, even if your ribs aren't exactly happy about it. Even after you're released from the vice grip, they're so close to you as they talk that you're pretty sure you can see their tonsils. We've all had a friend who talks a little too close, hugs a little too tight, and gets your attention by punching you in the arm. Sure, they mean well, but you're a little afraid for your safety when they're around. Why can't they just back off? This can often be a cultural thing. Body language and personal space is different in different cultures, and even in different regions of the same country. What feels natural and friendly to one person may feel intimidating to another. If it's a good friend, it may be best just to talk it out and tell them that you're not comfortable with the high-intensity contact. And
consistent lateness can cause much bigger issues. So what's the holdup anyway? It's not hard to see why lateness annoys people. If you make plans and then someone shows up late, the whole schedule goes out the window. And if a whole group of friends has plans and one person is late, it starts to seem easier to just leave that squeaky wheel out of the plans next time. But what causes consistent lateness is more complicated. Some people have trouble judging time, and the next thing they know, they have 10 things to do and too little time to do them. Other people will get thrown off by their sleep cycle. Others, though, just assume people will wait for them, and eventually they might be surprised. Of course, some people might want this next guy to stay away. Number 7. Being that guy at the party. Woohoo! Party time! There's no better way to meet people than an old-fashioned mixer. You dance, you play some party games, maybe get a little drunk, but there's always that one guy who takes it too far. He thinks the party starts when he shows up, but really everyone's just wondering what he'll break this time. He's loud, seems to think the party is his private stunt show, and if he doesn't end with someone driving him to the hospital after a keg stand mishap, the odds are you'll still have to explain a few broken lamps. So why does he keep getting invited to places? Well, sometimes this guy is the life of the party. He provides comic relief, but there's a fine line between being over the top and just too much.
Probably get it. If they don't, that's a bigger problem and it might be time to find another friend. Either way, your ribs will thank you. But at least they're happy to see you. The next person? I'm not so sure. Number 5. Being too negative. Going on vacation with a friend can be exciting. You discover new places and you have someone you know and trust by your side in case of unexpected events. You're having a blast, but if they could fool you. There's a complaint about everything. The plane ride, the hotel room, the restaurants. They even complained that there are too many French people in France. Some people feel like they're impossible to please. Even at the happiest event, they're the first to zero in on the little thing and spend the entire rest of the day complaining about it. Why are some people so hard to please? Sometimes this is a sign of depression, where they expect things to go wrong and keep their expectations low. Other times they're mirroring past experiences. Maybe dad could never be pleased when they got all A's on the report card. But whatever the reason, being around this person can be a drag for people who look on the bright side of things. There's nothing fun about having the time of your life and suddenly someone's talking about all the things that could go wrong. You can hear about bad things at home, but at least being a Debbie Downer won't offend the senses. Number 4. Poor personal hygiene. We all know that person who just can't seem to get it together. Maybe they only seem to wash their hair once in a blue moon and are constantly playing with it. Maybe they're a close talker and you get a wave of bad breath anytime they open their mouth. Maybe they can't keep their fingers out of everywhere. Ugh. These are habits most kids are taught to ditch in preschool, and yet some adults still have trouble getting a handle on it. Not only is it gross to look at, but you might be worried that being associated with these people might make you look bad, or even pick up some unwanted bugs. You gotta say something, but what? There's no tactful way to say you stink. Most people might avoid the topic because they don't want to be number 9 on the list and lose a friend. But in social situations, it can be tricky to hang around with someone with personal hygiene issues. One of the most common causes of this problem is depression. When someone is struggling, even the smallest task can be difficult to manage. Suddenly, taking a shower can feel like climbing Mount Everest. This is even more difficult when someone lives alone and has no one to remind them. But if the problem's getting out of control, it might be time for a friend intervention. But this next hygiene issue may be much more than an annoyance. Number 3. Smoking. For smokers, the whole world seems like it's a big non-smoking zone these days.